Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Before I get started with today's video, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like and subscribe button, maybe leave a comment, maybe ring the notification bell. All those things go a long way to help me grow this channel and keep putting out content like this. With all that said, today's video is going to be about the pieces of gear that I believe every beginner hunter needs to when they're just getting started. Even if they don't know if they're going to make hunting a big part of their life going forward, these basic pieces of gear can range anywhere from below $100 to over thousands of dollars. Don't pay attention to the price tags, don't pay attention to the name brands, just focus on what the piece of gear actually is, if you already have it or if you can easily get it from a sporting goods store. Now the first piece of gear I'm going to go over are the most important in my opinion, and if you ask 9.5 out of 10 hunters this question of what their most important piece of gear is, they're probably going to tell you the same thing. That's your optics. In my case, I love using binoculars, 10 by 42 binoculars, 10 being the power and 42 being the objective. For me, having binoculars, whether you're just starting out and trying to get out into the field to find animals, or if you're helping someone on their hunt and maybe you're tagging along, a mentor is teaching you, showing you the ropes, have a pair of binoculars with you. It doesn't have to be expensive. They don't have to be this expensive brand. You can go to Walmart even. Have something to be able to help the person that you're tagging along with or help yourself find game. There's nothing more discouraging than going out and not finding anything. If you go out without binoculars, you're probably not going to find anything. And you're going to wonder what you're doing out there, hiking around in the heat and busting your legs up trying to find stuff and you're not seeing anything. Binoculars are definitely going to be the most important piece of gear. I would say a close second to that, if you're the one hunting, is having a rangefinder. Most people don't think about this, I feel like, but rangefinders are important because if it's you that's hunting, you're gonna need to know how far that animal is, whether it's a rifle hunt or an archery hunt. If you can't tell how far that animal is, you're not gonna be able to make a clean and ethical shot on that animal. Now, I will say, rangefinders, they tend to start out a little higher price than the cheapest end of binoculars, but it's definitely worth it if you're the one pulling the trigger on an animal, or even if you're helping someone and they don't have a rangefinder, which I don't see any hunter that goes out into the field without some kind of rangefinder. If you're in a budget pinch, you could easily only have a rangefinder. They do have a magnification to them. This one happens to be ×7 magnification. I don't recommend using this to find animals, but if you needed to, you probably could. I'll just leave it at that. Now the second piece of gear that I would recommend for any beginner hunter, really any outdoors person, if you don't already have this, I don't know how you've been getting by in the outdoors, but that's a knife. They're so important that I have two. I actually have three. One is my everyday carry that I usually have in my pants for random tasks where a knife or something sharp is required. These two usually ride in my kill kit. So when I get an animal down, I pull out this here bag, and this is what I use to process an animal in the field. But a knife is important because of just that. There's so many different daily, day-to-day tasks that you might need a knife for, especially when you're out camping, hunting, hiking around. A knife is extremely important. If you were fortunate enough to get an animal down, or the person you're helping on their hunt got an animal down, you need to be able to process that animal into smaller pieces to carry them out of the woods, back to your truck or back to camp. So a knife is number 2 on my list for most important pieces of gear that a beginner needs to start hunting. Third on my list, and I'll put a link to another video that I made up in the corner here, but third on my list is going to be a backpack, preferably a framed pack. In a previous video, I talked about a pack that has all purposes for me between a travel backpack, a work backpack, everyday backpack, and a hunting, hiking backpack. You probably have a backpack lying around. It can easily serve its purpose if you're only going out for the first time and you want to get a taste for what hunting is like. You basically just need something to carry your gear around so you're not trying to put it all in your pockets and in your hands. If you were fortunate enough to get an animal on the ground, or you were hunting with somebody that got an animal on the ground, a backpack goes a long ways to be able to carry that animal back out of wherever you killed it, to be able to take it back to your truck. So number 3 on my list, a backpack. Number 4 on my list, and this is probably the most obvious to some people if you're hunting, is a weapon. Now, whether you're getting into bow hunting, muzzleloader, rifle hunting, or a combination of the three, you're gonna need one of them when you're just starting out. Again, most people, I do recommend going with a mentor for the first time because you can see if you like hunting. Weapons are expensive, whether it's a bow or a rifle or a muzzleloader, they're gonna run you over $1,000 when it's all said and done. You wanna make sure that you're actually gonna like hunting and using these things before you heavily invest. A gun you should probably have anyway, but that's a different story. But again, go out with a mentor, learn if you're gonna like it, and then invest in those pieces of equipment. I will say, as a beginner hunter, one of the problems I ran into is deciding if I wanted to be a rifle hunter, a bow hunter, or whatever. Personally, I started with a bow because I thought it was gonna be more difficult and thus more fun. I was definitely right about both things. It is much more difficult and it is a lot of fun. But if you're someone who wants to be successful and you're motivated by the successful harvesting of an animal, you should probably start with the rifle. To put this into context, I started hunting 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I forget. But I started with a bow. That was what I wanted to start with, and I am yet to be successful with a bow. However, all of the skills that bow hunting teaches you carry huge carryovers to rifle hunting. Rifle hunting is, I would almost dare to call it easy once you become proficient with a bow. Now, I've been close many times with the bow, but close doesn't count. However, getting close to an animal and practicing sneaking in or stalking into an animal with a bow, it's gonna make rifle hunting a lot easier. I'm 5 for 5 on deer hunts, rifle hunts, and 0 for 7 with bow hunts. So just to put it in perspective, but you will need one of them when you're starting out. Do your research, see which one's gonna appeal to you most, and see what you're motivated by. Most, if you get a kick out of and you're motivated even just getting out there and getting close and intimate with these animals, but you don't necessarily hang everything on a successful harvest or a successful kill at the end of it, maybe start with bow hunting. You're going to learn a lot of great skills and you can pick up a rifle later and be really successful with the rifle. If you're only motivated and the only thing that's keeping you going is having something on the ground, having meat in the freezer or the antlers on the wall at the end of it, start with the rifle because that's going to get you there faster. Now, number 5 on my list is going to be weather appropriate clothing. Now, kind of cheating on this one because you don't necessarily need to go out and buy new clothing to go hunting for the first time, especially if you're just getting into it and you're going out like on a day hunt or maybe a couple day backpacking trip. You're probably going to be just fine from whatever hiking gear you have from REI. To be honest, you don't need anything fancy. Now, once you start getting into it and going on extended trips and being out for 3, 4, 5, 10 plus days, you should probably have a specialized layering system, not only to reduce the amount of gear that you have to bring, but reduce the weight of your pack that you carry everything in, and have a more seamless approach to staying warm by being able to layer up and layer down. So, weather appropriate clothing, I love wool. If you have wool, definitely wear wool when you're out in the field. Don't wear cotton. That's the biggest advice I would give to a beginner, is just don't wear cotton. Anything else is probably fine, not cotton. Number 6, and this is kind of cheating as well because it's not a piece of gear, but I highly recommend going out with a mentor for the first time. My first time I went hunting, I did have a mentor going out with me. He was successful on that hunt. It was great to be able to see the process from start to finish of being successful on a hunt. From there, you're gonna find a lot of mentors don't have the same style of hunting that you necessarily want to pursue. I like doing the kind of hunts where it's grueling, hiking a lot, I'm moving a lot, I'm getting after it. Some people don't like that, and that's okay. Everyone has their different styles, but make sure you find a mentor with a similar style that you want to pursue as a hunter. Sometimes that means going alone, but if you can, always start by going with somebody to learn the very basics of how to find game, where game live, how to identify them, all of those basics. It's going to have a huge help to be able to have a mentor with you to start. As you progress as a hunter and you learn skills, this is kind of like what I did. I eventually just started going out on my own quite a bit, and I've picked up tons of skills that are very useful, and it's made me a lot better. But of course, I'm always growing and trying to be even better than I was my last outing. And the last thing I want to mention as a new hunter, and this is going to be kind of a cop-out answer as well, is you must have patience and a willingness to learn and a willingness to make mistakes. When you're new to this, I mentioned it earlier, you might not be successful for a long time. If you're the kind of person who loves the grind, loves the hustle of it, and loves just to work hard and get after it and be around animals, lay eyes on animals, and have the potential to maybe harvest one and kill one and put meat on the table and meat in the freezer, Hunting's going to be a great hobby for you. If you're one of those people that gives up easily or isn't easily motivated or hates hiking, I hate to break it to you, but most of hunting is just hiking with a weapon on your back. I always joke whenever I want to bring someone new, like, hey, do you want to come hunting with me? And they're like, I don't know, hunting seems kind of hard. I don't know if I'd be into it. I'm like, listen, we're probably not going to be successful if you come with me. We're probably just going to go on a really, really long hike and work really hard for maybe getting a glimpse of some animals and putting a stalk or two on. Be prepared to work hard as a new hunter. Be prepared to absorb knowledge if you're lucky enough to have someone to teach you. Reach out to people that you know that hunt. Most hunters are very nice and are more than willing to help someone new. Myself, whenever people ask me questions about it, I'm always willing to dive in and probably talk more than they wanted me to about hunting and teach them everything I know to hopefully help someone new get into the field. So I hope this video today helped you figure out kind of some basics that you might need. Again, don't pay too much attention to the brand names. If you have questions about specific brands or my opinion on certain things, I'll definitely have videos on that in the future, but feel free to send me a message in the comments and ask, and I'm happy to answer with any of that. Thank you all for watching, and don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, maybe leave a comment, and ring the notification bell. Thanks, until next time.